Welcome back, my dear students. This is Dr. Osama Kashwa, and this is the CPV cost profits analysis. This is the last thing in our classes in this semester. I'll come to you like a synopsis, like because I know you did very hard in this semester. So we'll have the main formulas, and at the same time will be the application only by changing in the numbers from this lecture or this class. So it will be very easy for you guys. I wish that you understand and enjoy this class today. This is the unit, is about the cost and volume and profit analysis. And we just need to understand things like what do we mean by the break even analysis. Break even, the word break even means that no profits, no losses. No, I'm at the point where there is no profits and no losses. Just I covered, hardly cover all my expenses. And this is a very important point for the decision making. And this actually, the topic is talking about this, where all the revenues equals all the costs. So this is the uh, profit chain analysis. Let me share the screen to show you what are we talking about. The point where both the revenues equals the costs is what we call it break even analysis back. And actually, just I want to show how did we get this point? How did we came into this point, just to understand it for yourself? It's not for the exam purpose, but just for yourself to understand it. Would you please just, if you don't mind, watch out the board? So the break even analysis means what? Means that we have revenues, we have costs, and we have revenues. Let's say here as example, we have something is called fixed costs. This is called fixed costs. Fixed costs. And we have something is called variable costs. Variable. VARIABLES. Variable costs. So we have fixed costs. Fixed costs like things will never change, like the machines, the buildings, the things which you brought or you bought for making easy for you to make profits, but not for reselling it back. Like the machines, the lands, the factories, you bring it only once in the start of the your project, and after that is done. You don't want you don't buy anymore. So this we call it a fixed costs. How about the variable costs? The variable costs are changed based on the size or the volume of production. As example, the more you produce, the more the variable costs will increase, like the manpower, the wages, the pays, the oil, the electricity or the power. All this, the more you produce, the more you will have variable costs. Then we have something is called total costs. Actually, I will do it in blue so you will understand it. The total cost is here. This is the total cost. Total costs. Total cost in that blue. So what we do here, the total costs, is both of the variable and the fixed. Then total costs will equals fixed costs plus variable costs, right? So the total cost will equals fixed costs plus the variable cost, both of them together, both of them, fixed plus the variable costs. So usually when you do a line or in the graph, the line which comes overwhelming the other two lines, this means the total, the aggressive, or both of them together will be above them, will be above them. So the fixed cost is just fixed. In the long run, it's fixed. You never change it. It's never be changed. It's fixed means never change, like this, right? And it's always parallel to the horizontal line. Variable costs start from the point descent. So now we need to know how about our earnings, our revenues. Revenues start from this point and goes forward as well. Here is the revenues line. the green one, this one. I just want to make it draw it in red so it will be clear for everyone, or just in blue, something heavy that can help me. Well, then this line can be shown up. Here we go. Now this is the variable down here. This is the variable. Let's make it, because I know this not very big. This is the variable cost. Variable. Now this is the revenues. The green one is the revenue. Revenue. The green one is the revenue. So the point where the total costs interact, those are the total costs in blue, the total cost in blue, and the total revenues in green. So the break-even analysis is where the total costs equals total revenue. So I will write it down now. Break-even here. Let me do it like this. Break-even. Just need a quick pen. Then break-even will happen when total costs equals total revenue. When total costs equal total revenue, this is the break-even point. This is the break-even point when both of them are the same. Here, like here, it's in the draw here, in this point, the point where both of them are the intersection of the total revenues in green and the total costs in blue. In this point, no gains, no losses. In this point, so before this point in this area, this is an area of losses area. Meanwhile, in the other area, which at the top here, in the other area, which in the top, those are here, this area, you can see it properly, this area here, those are areas of profits, profit area. So this is profit area, profit area. So we have two areas of loss here before the break-even point, and we have a profit zone, which is area of profits after the break-even point. And of course, this is the break-even point. Let me see here, right here, break-even point. Break-even point, break-even point, break-even point, where the total revenues intersect with the total costs. You are not in need for the draw, just it's for me just to explain to you from where it came. But what you need is to know is that at this point the total costs will equal the total revenues, where there is no profits or there is no loss. Now, how we will calculate the break-even point? I will give an example for it, and just we'll see how we will calculate it. Now, we don't need this draw. We'll make an example, then you will know how to calculate the break-even point. Let us say give this example how we will get the break-even point. Calculates the break-even point. Break-even point. Knowing that fixed costs are $100,000, and that fixed costs, and that sorry, we have wrote the fixed costs are, and that selling price equals dollars, $10, and variable costs for the unit is dollars, $5. So how we will get the profit or break even point where there is no gains and no losses from this example. So first thing is that we would say the break even point, where there is no gain, no loss, break even will equals. This is the formula. Fixed costs, that is the total fixed costs divided by the selling price for sales price minus the variable cost. By the way, the sale price for a unit and the variable cost for a unit, those down one, we call them the profit margin. So it is, by other meaning, fixed cost, the total fixed cost divided by the margin profits. And this is how it is. So this is the equation. Now, to get the break-even point here, the break-even point in this example, break even will equal fixed cost. Let's see the fixed cost here. He's saying calculate the break-even point knowing that the fixed costs are 100,000. The fixed costs are 100,000. So here we'll say the fixed cost will be 100,000 divided by the selling price of the sales is $10. Sales is $10 per unit. We calculated per unit minus the variable costs are $5. Then this will be 100,000. This, of course, the margin profits will be 5. 10 minus 5, the margin profits will be $5. The selling price minus the variable costs. And I said, the variable costs are all the costs related to the production, like the power, the pay, the electricity. All these are called variable costs. So this will be 100,000 divided by 5. This will be 20,000. 20,000 what? 20,000 units. Okay? Units of money, units of production, whatever. What we do here, money divided by money. So, with this, on the production of 20,000 units, there will be no gain, no losses. No gain, no losses. In this amount, there will be no gain, no losses, and there will be the break-even point. Remember, I told you, I will repeat back, calculate the break-even point, knowing that the fixed costs are 100,000. Fixed costs are 100,000. And the selling price is $10, and the variable cost for the unit is $5. So what I will do is I will calculate the break even will equals the fixed cost divided by the sales minus the variable costs, or by other meaning, the fixed costs divided by the margins profits. So this will be 100,000 divided by 10 in the sales minus the variable cost, which is $5, and this all will come to 20,000 units. In this production, 20,000 units, there are no profits, no losses. I'm just hardly I cover all my expenses. but I didn't gain even as a profit. I didn't gain even 1 cent. Yeah. Now we'll go back to share the screen and things that I want you to get out of this unit, and it will come to you direct questions like this. When you know what's the meaning of break-even analysis, and when you know how to calculate the break-even analysis, and when you it's a point where there is no profits, no losses, everything is fine in this point. We have, if I gave you as example, sales 50,000 units that will make with rupees as example or whatever, 1 million rupees. Variable costs 600,000 rupees. Then you will get the contribution margin. This is not profit margin, this contribution, because the sales here for the whole units is not for one unit. So this will be 1 million minus 600. That will come, the contribution margin will be $400,000. The fixed costs are 300,000. Then in that case, the income from operation, when you take all the costs out, first we have the sales. We discounted from the sales the variable cost, 600,000. From that, we will get the contribution margin, which is 400,000. Then we will deduct again the fixed costs, which is 300,000. At the end, we will have income from operation that will be 100,000 only. So we deducted the variable costs and the fixed costs. 600 and minus and $300 are 900,000. We deducted from the sales, which is 1 million, and we got from that the income from operation. Income from operation. So if I tell you, calculate the income from operation for this company, then what you will do simply, you will deduct the fixed cost and the variable costs from the sales. Sales minus fixed and variable costs. Here we go. I will do it for you on the board, just for you to remind you that sales income from operation income from operation will equals sales, those are total sales, minus total fixed costs plus variable costs. Those are all totals as well. So if the sales were $1 million, $1 million minus the fixed cost, as example, was 300 or whatever. In this example, let me see, the fixed cost was how much? Fixed cost was 300 and the variable was 600, or the opposite, 300 and the variable cost was $600. So all the costs will be 900,000. All of them will come to $900,000. Out of 1 million, that will give me $100,000. This I call it $100,000. I call it income from operations. Income from operations. Income from operation. So it is the total revenues or total sales, because the sales are the revenues, minus fixed costs and variable costs for all the costs which I have. So this was an example about how you get the income from operation. You will get simply this number, the sales, and this is the fixed cost, and this is the variable cost. All you will do is you will do this list. I will just share it for you again, and that's what you will do. The sales is 500,000, the variable cost 600, the fixed cost 300. So all of them will come to 900,000 out of 1 million. Then it will give me this number, which is the income from operation. 600,000 for the variable, 300 for the fixed, like I did on the board. All of them minus the if I tell you only just give me the contribution margin, then you will say the sales, all the sales or the revenues minus sales or revenues are the same, minus the variable costs only. Then this will give me contribution margin. How I will get the contribution margin ratio, like in front of you, it's just very simple. The sales, how much are the sales? $1 million minus the variable cost, $1 million of the sales minus the variable cost. The variable costs are 600,000. Here you go. Here are 600,000, the variable costs, divided again by the sales. Sales minus the variable divided by the sales. So this will give me what we call contribution margin ratio. It is sales minus variable divided by the sales back. Divided by the sales back. That's fine. The final thing I want you to get you here, I want you to get from this example, is the margin of safety or MOS. MOS. We said, like I'm repeating back for you what we said before about the break-even point, that it's a point where the total revenues will equals the total costs. So the thing that I want you to know is that in this point, this is the break-even point. So all the total costs will intersect with the sale revenues. And in this point, actually, we said there are no gains, no losses. But still, we have to know what the meaning of margin of safety. Margin of safety, some companies, they have to keep margin. They don't leave themselves till they go down to the BEP, to the point of the break even. They keep for themselves a preserve, like, or kind for safety. If the stock is down and they need more stock, so they don't stop. So I need the stock. I have to look at my own warehouses, right? So there must be no shortage. So there must be over the limit of the break even, because suppose that happened that I need to sell more or something like this. I won't find the stock. No, I should be there. So um, it is a difference between the actual and expected sales and sales at the break even point. So the sales at the break even point and the actual sales is the difference between them. Simply, if I tell you, give me the margin of safety, I will give you the actual sales. You might get the break even by the formula total fixed cost divided by the selling price for each unit minus the variable cost, which I started in the first of the class today at the start of this lecture today. So if I tell you as example, the actual sales, blah, 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 was 2,550,000 rupees as example. And the 250,000 rupees, and the break even sales is 200,000 rupees. Okay. And so you would say the actual minus the break divided again by the actual, multiply by 100% to get it for percentage like this. So you would say the margin safety simply will be the actual. I might give it to you as an example alone, margin of safety. So you will know it's over the real sales of the break even point. It's over this point. So I will give you two numbers, and you will get for me the margin safety. Like if I tell you as example, if I tell you an example, this is an example in front of you here. The actual sales are 2,250,000. This is the actual sales, and the break-even sales are 200,000. So what you're gonna do is say 250,000 minus 200,000 divided by 250,000 again. All this will be multiplied by 100, which will give you in a percentage. So it will be 20%. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.